friends!
Hey.
So we're back.
Yes.
Today is not going to be such a funny, jolly type of video because this one is really going to expose the truth. For those of you guys that are new to my channel, this is my friend Nicole, and I'm Nina, and I have been covering the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case pretty much since she came out of prison. Initially, I didn't know who she was. I learned who she was when she came out of prison. Once I learned who she was, it kind of, I had so many questions that I felt like had never been answered. And every time I tried to move on from this case, I had more and more questions, which really left so many unanswered questions that brought so much curiosity, which is why I have stayed so relentless on this case.
Yeah.
And everything that I was wondering before, I now have answers to, and I want to share it with you because I know a lot of you have the same questions that I've had. You know, you and I have both spoken and said, but why?
Yeah, and just to see how much, when you do question things, how much resistance that you get for even the questions that you have going along the way, which makes you question things even more.
Now, in the beginning of April, it might have been the beginning or mid to April, the Good Wives Network on YouTube posted about a chromosome disorder called microdeletion 112 dot something.
Yeah, 1Q something, yeah.
A lot of my followers kept telling me to check it out. I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of like dismissed it because I didn't really think it was going to be that important to this case.
Yeah.
But I regret that. And I regret that for the sole purpose that I feel like that is something that I overlooked, that was the biggest thing to break this case open.
Yeah, yep.
We have thought up until this point, Gypsy Rose has been a victim of Munchausen by proxy.
And then who brought it up that it was the Munchausen by proxy?
Deedee was never diagnosed with Munchausen by proxy at any point. Not by Gypsy's doctors or by her doctors. Okay?
So this came up after her death?
Yes.
Okay.
For starters. Now, you can't diagnose a person that's not here to be diagnosed. I'm sure a professional would say the same thing. In order for you to diagnose someone, they must be here on this earth to diagnose. So, the Munchausen by proxy kind of didn't sit that well with me, especially knowing that they say most victims of Munchausen by proxy don't make it past 7 years or something like that. I always had questions. Well, wow, she made it to 23. Like, how did she make it that far? Now, granted, there is a woman by the name of Kate Marie on TikTok that has suffered from a mom having Munchausen by proxy, and she is still alive. But she is an amputee. Her mom had her leg amputated.
Yeah.
And the story that Gypsy tells about Munchausen by proxy is a duplicate of Kate Marie's story. And I always wondered why. And that is because the narcissism has her mirror someone that she wants to be like, to make her story seem even more real. So this is where we're going to blow the cover. Deedee Blanchard never abused Gypsy Rose. She never had Munchausen by proxy. What Deedee Blanchard did was malinger, which is using what Gypsy had to pander and get more money. So was she a con artist? Yes. Was she a bad mother? No. But here's why. So we're going to show you guys exactly what microdeletion is.
Mm-hmm.
One of the key signs to microdeletion is having a small head. And this photo right here shows you the small bulb head.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it shows slightly disfigured facial structure.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at her eyes,
Mm-hmm.
that is part of this chromosome disorder,
Yeah.
as well as her nose.
Mm-hmm. And I have here the neurological, the seizures, weak muscle tone, and eye abnormalities.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So she did have, issues with her muscles,
Mm-hmm.
and the wheelchair was actually needed.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I have a screenshot of one of my followers. Where's your text? Oh, I see it. Oops. One of my followers wrote something, and I really want to read this, and we're going to also attach the screenshot of this. And her name is Tangy Tart. This is one of my loyal followers, and I actually really appreciate her a lot. And she said Deedee had malingering for money. She was never diagnosed with Munchausen by proxy because she didn't have it. Gypsy was a sickly child. The chromosome disorder in her medical file finally diagnosed in 2011. The testing and the procedures stopped in 2011 because they found out the reason for her muscle weakness, the lack to thrive, thus the feeding tube. Her bad teeth, ears, and eyes all stem and can come from this disorder.
Mm-hmm.
The wheelchair was for her weak muscles, like a toddler gets tired and gets in a wheelchair. However, they used the wheelchair way more and for cons. Deedee made up the cancer. That is what malingering is. Malingering is making up issues for cons. Deedee did shave Gypsy's head to show proof of treatment that she was getting. But was she truly abusing Gypsy? No. And I also want to mention that every time that the chromosome deletion disorder has been messaged, they have flagged it. And the reason why they flagged it is because it blows the Munchausen by proxy narrative out of the water.
So wait, you're saying that their team, Gypsy Rose team, every time somebody puts up something about this this information here, and they're linking it to her, linking it to Gypsy, they delete it. They delete the post. Just like they're deleting.
No, just not even if it's not
information
linking. It's just the speaking about the the chromosome disorder. They flag it. So you have to appeal it, and then they put it up.
So they're fighting. They're flagging stuff for Nick
because they never wanted, which is why Gypsy Rose and Christy Blanchard have been fighting from her medical records being shown. They have been fighting tooth and nail, and even said that they were filing suits and this and that to not have the medical records disclosed. But Christy Blanchard actually gave it to someone that exposed it on the internet. So it was public information. Christy handed it over. Now Christy's kicking herself because what was found in those medical records, she didn't have the intelligence to understand.
It was the answer to it all.
And it was the answer to this all. So now, when you think about this all, it really blows the mind.
Because it all makes sense. So then that goes back to even the why for the actual murder. What's the why?
There's also something that I have seen other people Google, speaking on Gypsy's trip, where her mom posted this right here about her trip, mentioning the concerns that she had. Because what a lot of people don't know is Gypsy was going to Disney World just about every other year for 2 weeks, paid by other people. She has gotten a lot of celebrities to give her money as a young child. She has been on yachts, and she lived quite a comfortable life, despite of what the world thinks and the stories she's told.
Yeah, and we explored this a little bit to say you're a single mom taking care of a child with many, like this chromosome creates many different symptoms. A lot of different things come up, and as you were saying, they were treating the different symptoms that came there. So she came as a sickly
Even she
child.
was developmentally delayed.
Yes.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It took her 5 years to get a GED. That's not normal.
Right.
And that's no shade. That's just me being honest.
Right.
And for it to take someone 5 years to get a GED, there's definitely something wrong there.
Yeah.
And this stems from that. Now, the sad part of this all is we have all been wondering why the doctors weren't sued for medical malpractice. They weren't sued for medical malpractice because it wasn't fraud.
Yeah. Yep.
But one thing I do think is, well, it wasn't medical fraud on the doctor's end. What I do think it is very important to note is that Deedee and Gypsy both had pending fraud charges at the time of Deedee's unaliving. And I think that had to do with the fraud that was happening with the whole wheelchair.
So medical fraud.
On her end, more of the malingering, not necessarily the medical fraud, because that was really taking place, but on the side of conning.
Yeah, falsifying things.
So yes, Deedee was a con woman. I will never take that from her. But was she a bad mother? I don't believe so, based off of what I've been presented.
But we also talked about as a single mom with a sickly child, and you're not able to work, right?
She kind of had to pander to an extent.
Yeah, she took it overboard.
She took it overboard, yes. But she did what she had to do to take care of her daughter. So to see Gypsy make a Mother's Day post saying, was she a bad mother?
Yeah.
And she was a bad person.
Yeah.
But then saying she was a good person makes me very sad.
Yeah.
And it makes sense as to why she said her mom would be in heaven.
Yeah.
So I will say this, I will take a moment to say rest in peace to Deedee, because she was not who we were led to believe.
Yeah.
She was villainized, even in her death.
Yep, she can't defend herself. Wow.
Here's the thing. I always questioned her being such a bad person.
Right.
And the reason why I question it, this is the part that's interesting, is that she is a Taurus. She is born in the month of May, and I'm a Taurus too. And I don't know Taurus moms to not love their kids and want to, like, we're the type of people that we want to make sure everybody is okay.
Yeah.
And we will do whatever to make sure that you're good. And I just couldn't understand how she could be like that, right? So do I think her mom was a narcissist and a manipulator like Gypsy? No. I think actually Gypsy was spoiled and is the narcissist, is the manipulator, and she tries to project that onto everybody else.
Look at the life. She was in Disney every other year. Like, there are whole kids that's never seen Disney. They grow up, they've never been to Disney.
And even watching parts of that interrogation after her mother's passing. When I want you guys to understand the evil in Gypsy's heart is she was able to rest her head in that interrogation room knowing she was lying, and
her mother's dead.
she was able to sleep with a man in the next room after having her mom. Let that sink in. So do we think she's above what she's doing? Because like Deedee was malingering for Gypsy's disorder that she did truly have, she just embellished it.
Yes. Yep.
Gypsy is malingering Munchausen by proxy that Deedee had never been diagnosed for.
Yeah. And I'm even thinking too, as a mom, maybe she was just always looking out for her to say, hey, you have certain disabilities or you're limited in certain capabilities. Maybe as a mom, she's looking out for her, and maybe she just wanted to go, you know? Maybe that
I
was
think
her thing.
she knew Deedee was very sick at the time of her unaliving.
Yeah.
That she wanted to make, she wanted to speed the process up. This, and like I said before, this is really truly my opinion.
Yeah.
But I also want to mention to you guys, and I think this part is actually quite important. Part of this chromosome disorder is hypersexuality. It's a symptom. And there's several reports of this. If you look at what she's doing today and what she has done previously, even these provocative pictures, everything links back to this chromosome deletion disorder.
Yeah.
Even, you know, the mental health issues. Everything is kind of linked to this. The muscle weakness, the floppy skin still exists. She had physical therapy. You know, the feeding tube, it took much more for her to grow. So the feeding tube was actually needed. That's something worth noting. And Deedee had always told people that the wheelchair was because she was tired and the weakness increased over time, which is part of that chromosome disorder. So her hypersalivation is a symptom that she still shows today. And that's why she has the duck lips. So she often, you know, licks her lips and, you know, all of that, her salivary glands were reduced, they weren't removed, and that was the reason why, because of the chromosome disorder.
Because she had a surgery because she was drooling.
That's why. So it wasn't the Oragel. That was stories to make it, to embellish the Munchausen by proxy, is what she was malingering to that Munchausen by proxy. And the truth is, her actual conditions were really minor, and they were corrected when she was younger. Despite of not knowing the specific chromosome disorder until 2011, doctors had identified each one of those issues, and they were progressively working to solve them. And all the tests and procedures that she actually had done, they were medically necessary. And it helped her, you know, to be healthy today. I believe that Deedee truly loved Gypsy and gave her a childhood better than most have had.
I believe so.
The average American child isn't going to Disney every other year for 2 weeks. You know, that's it's not affordable. You know?
So all that cosplay and all those things, those played into her developmental abnormality, right? Yeah, okay.
The eye surgeries that she had helped correct her eyes without, you know, causing more issues. And the chronic ear infections she grew out of, like most kids typically, generally do. In fact, my daughter had them. My goddaughter has had it. And those were, you know, pretty standard. The facial features of this young lady right here in the chromosome deletion form and Gypsy right over here, if you look, they look identical. So that says a lot. Right? The deletion, the chromosome disorder that she has is 1q21.1. And the exhibit symptoms, the symptoms that are exhibited is the deep-rooted eye sockets, the enlarged nose, the small head, the triangular shaped face, which is all of what Gypsy has.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to say that she's ugly, she's nothing. No, this is not a personal attack on her beauty. This is just parts of the symptoms of the 1q21.1 chromosome deletion disorder.
Yeah. So it's all making sense. It's all because she does not look like the mother or the father, right? She looks.
She actually does look
more like the father.
And she actually does look similar to her sister Mia. What I think is very interesting is some of those facial shapes that we are discussing, Mia does have them too. Maybe not as severe, but I have seen it. Now, Mia is gorgeous. So I'm not taking away from that. That is such a beautiful young lady. But I'm saying this is the interesting part too. Deedee Blanchard was tested for this chromosome disorder and she was not a carrier. Rod Blanchard was never tested for this chromosome disorder, but someone had to have had it to pass it down to Gypsy. Being that I'm saying I see that there are similarities within Gypsy and her sister.
Maybe the father
could be the carrier. Right.
But I could see where this disorder kind of takes away from being that spitting image of. I could see it now. Okay.
The blood test showed significant deletion of the chromosome, and they tested Deedee for it, like I said before, and she wasn't a carrier. So that really does speak volumes.
Wow.
This is one of the proven marks as to say that she has it. And when you really look at this pamphlet as we've displayed, and we'll actually have a segment of where you're able to kind of just look through it on here. That says a lot about these health issues that Gypsy has been saying her mom was abusing her for. I really just want people to understand that she said she was being abused for a chromosome disorder that she truly had that's in her medical records today.
Wow. Oh, boy. That explains a lot. That explains everything.
And like I said before, this had always been a case that I couldn't shake. Because I'm very much a person that I'm a very logical person, and I always want answers. When something doesn't make sense, I tend to kind of stay on it until it makes sense because it's kind of like a math problem, right? Things have to make sense, and to kind of leave something alone that doesn't make sense, but you're shoving this in our faces. I need to make sense out of it. I needed to understand why was Deedee such a villain. But when her neighbors spoke on her, they spoke very highly of her and her relationship with Gypsy. So I really wanted to understand that. And again, we're going to show this screenshot of Gypsy speaking about her mom on Mother's Day of 2014. She said in this post that my mom is an angel. She is the purest version of God's love. When you see her and meet her, you know that she's an amazing person, and she's so proud to call this woman her mama.
Well, you always said you didn't think that she was abused.
I truly didn't believe Deedee was a villain. I couldn't understand it. Is she a con woman? Yes. We can't dispute that. But a villain that was trying to harm Gypsy? No.
You see people who try to harm their kids. They don't feed them. You've seen the stories. They'll tie them up. They do all kind of wild stuff.
She always spoke on how much she loved her mom, even in that interrogation. Although she slayed her mama, she did speak and say that my mom is my best friend. I would never hurt her. But she has villainized her in her death. When I tell you that is a wicked person, and if Ken and Miss Raina don't realize what they are dealing with, you have the devil in your home.
Wow.
The direct devil. And if she could villainize her mom in her death on Mother's Day, she will villainize anyone else because you ain't no kin to her.
Yeah. You're not going to stand in her way. Wow. Wow. So what? So let's kind of maybe summarize. What does this all mean?
This is all a scam.
Yeah.
This entire story, the entire reason why she said she unalived her mom, all of this is lies and a scam. The wheelchair was needed, not as often as she was using it, but the wheelchair was needed, which is why Gypsy was able to get disability. So the doctors themselves never actually committed fraud, which is what she was trying to say. The doctors failed her, her mom failed her, everybody failed her. She is the victim. It's all been lies and fraud.
Yeah.
And malingering is what it is. It's not Munchausen by proxy. It's not by proxy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just thinking from jail now, the malingering continues now. So how do we make this into a story so you can continue on to feel sorry for me?
I'm not. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And this is very much a situation where it feels very wrong.
Yeah.
It felt wrong to me the minute that I saw her really gallivanting and saying she didn't identify as a murderer. And like that part just really drives it home to me.
Yeah.
Saying she doesn't identify as a murderer, knowing she used this man that is autistic with a low IQ and other mental health issues to unalive her mom because she wanted to get some DICK.
And it just seems so convenient.
And to villainize her and him.
Yeah.
So all she does is every person in her life, she villainizes them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And manipulates the people around after she villainizes these people.
And then she discards
This is her game.
She discards you when she can't use you anymore.
This is her game. And to know that she had her mom unalived for her own selfish reasons when this woman was never abusing her is
wow.
mind blowing.
Yeah, it's
like all I could say is rest in peace, Deedee, because it truly is a sad situation, and I want to keep driving home the fact that she said that her mom would be in heaven. I really wanted to understand why she felt that way.
If she was such a bad person, right?
You know, because them type of people don't go to heaven.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, I mean, God is a forgiving God and a graceful God, but He is not a God of mockery. Like, and she has embellished and mocked and lied and deceived and used people and pandered
just to get her needs filled.
She's a dangerous person, and she is in the immediate people that live with her are in extreme danger. Extreme danger. And it kind of would make sense as to why. You know, Christy, I will say this. I apologize for a lot of the stuff I've said to you and about you. And the reason why I say that is, and this is not even me being funny, I get why you would put on her shoes. But, Christy Blanchard, you have always known that Gypsy could walk.
Yep.
And you yourself has admitted that.
Yep.
And being that you've admitted that, I truly believe the reason why she praises you so much as her mother, as her stepmother, is because had you not had told her to use Munchausen by proxy, today she would be sitting in prison for the unaliving of her mother.
Great minds think alike. She found somebody, a co-conspirator. How to plan out all
And
this
the
stuff.
reason why Rod ain't been all up through social media or any of that is the man knows that he's at risk to be too. They are one and the same.
He might know too much. Wow. Yep. Great minds think alike. Wow.
But we showed you guys the medical record where it shows her name at the bottom. There are things that are marked off just for legal purposes. But this is all public information that are in Facebook groups, that are on social media. Like I said, Fancy from the Good Wives Network has a lot of this information, very insightful information as well. Now, her and I do not speak because I feel like now, knowing what I know, I feel for her. And the reason why I say I feel for this woman is because I believe Christy Blanchard and Gypsy have used this woman and abused her and discarded her. And it caused her to spiral mentally. And it was where they were able to discredit her. So nobody would believe her when she spoke on this chromosome disorder deletion.
But look at all the people that they've done the same thing to.
Yeah, it's a trend.
Yeah.
And you know, I think she's very much a woman that has a lot of knowledge. But due to her spiraling, people have overlooked the messages that she has said, and really kind of focused on her spiraling. But what I will say, I think that she has good information. And she's a wealth of knowledge on this case. But unfortunately, people...
What I tell you, they always go for, they take your money or they try to make sure that they think
discredit
you're crazy.
you. And I've seen that they've tried to do that. They've said that I'm a liar, I'm a manipulator. But the thing that has stood for me is that I have been a content creator for some time. And the people that have followed me from before Gypsy Rose know that I've always been an open book and I have always been open and transparent. And one thing I have always believed in was fighting for what was right. And I never liked the underdog being taken advantage of. And I think that she constantly does that along with her family. And so for me, fighting for Nicholas to get justice is one sentiment of doing the right thing in life. To make sure that someone that should get justice gets it. Because for this to happen to this level behind this, that was all stories to begin with. You know, I can't imagine how Nicholas feels because I would be devastated. To really be honest with you, truly, I would be devastated.
Yes. Look at the carnage that's left behind.
And this woman has caused a ruckus. Since she has been out of prison, she has caused turmoil.
And I will just say, you know, I've seen people say, well, oh, Nina, you're just obsessed with her, or, you know, you're coming down on her, or whatever. But it was your natural instinct to say there was something up with this case.
I just couldn't let it go. And I think that was part of the reason why I spoke to her. Because I felt like it just didn't make sense. And I wanted some sort of understanding. And it all makes sense. After having communication with her, I knew she was an evil person. I knew that for a fact. And I knew she didn't deserve grace. I knew that. And although Ken and his mama both tried to distract me from that and try to tell me I was wrong, one thing about me is that I have always been a person that's able to really read body language, and I'm a great judge of character. I have always been a very great judge of character. In fact, my mom used to call me her little psychic when I was younger. And I just knew something didn't sit right. Once I communicated with her and realized she was trying to manipulate me in those messages, is when it really clicked to me, this girl is evil. And the funny part is, the people that said that she was before she messaged me continued to say that. But there's very much those stands that Gypsy has that refuse to believe the truth. And that is reason why I'm putting this video out today, to give Deedee a small piece of justice. But definitely to make sure Nick gets justice. And until people really understand that the really one and only villain is Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Nicholas may never get justice. But I will be fighting for him to get justice.
Well, at least people will know the truth. You know, at least the truth is
the truth is very, very important in this case. So we felt the need. This was really a emergency video. We recorded a video yesterday that we will be showing you guys later this week. But this was one that we did today, edited today, put up today, because we felt like it was so important for you guys to know, because you guys have been following us on this journey. You've been following us to gain the understanding like we've always tried to seek. You know, with the interrogation, we gained an understanding of who she was. And we knew through the interrogation there was no abuse, but we couldn't prove it for 100% effect. This here has really shown
what it's all
what
about.
we have speculated this entire time is facts.
And there is no personal jabs at Gypsy. It was nothing like that. It's just that things just really weren't adding up and did not make sense.
And I will say this, Gypsy, if you're watching this, which I'm sure you do because you pretty much stalk my videos, I hope one day you could truly tell your mother sorry. Because just to know that your own child unalived you and villainized you in your death.
With all your sacrifices.
I can't imagine in her deathbed how she felt.
And you could say that being moms, you could say that. That is
being a mother, like I could just imagine the heartbreak. And she had been abused for days. So she knew. And one of the things that also brought me so much question is that she said, her mom said, Gypsy, don't hurt me. So I couldn't understand why her mom would say that if she hadn't been hurting her. But it all makes sense now. And I believe you have a mental health disorder that you will never change because of the narcissism that you have and the arrogance. Just think about the arrogance of that Mother's Day video after villainizing the woman that you killed.
Knowing what you know. And praised yourself in that video of how good you're doing. And
you tried to check everybody, but you need to check yourself. Because you are not worthy of love. Like you said at the end of that video, you are absolutely not. At all. And the fact that there is murderers and thieves among other people and they don't know. I truly hope this video lifted the veil off of people's eyes. I hope I brought awareness to the situation, awareness to this woman not being the villain, awareness to who she truly is as a person, and to just give Nicholas and Deedee some sort of justice.
I'm just thinking she wasn't a villain. She was just a normal person trying to take care of her kid.
I woke up this morning and looked at this information and really just sat there in shock because I couldn't fathom being that evil. You have to really understand the evil in this woman's heart.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at what she's doing now. Yeah. Yeah. There's not a care and concern for anybody else except living her best life. By any means necessary.
I don't think I've ever met anyone that malicious and evil and devious in my life. I don't believe I've met anyone like that. But again, I'm a good judge of character, so I try to keep people in my circle that I know are good people. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, when you leave this world, you want to leave a mark that you know that you tried to do the right thing. Yeah. I would never want to be known to villainize my mom and her dad.
But we've talked about it. We've had situations in our own life which is incredibly evil people. And
I still don't think those people are as evil as her.
No, this is horrible.
This one, I still don't think. You know what?
Yeah.
She makes my ex look like an angel. And I will say to him, if you watch this, I am sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I have spoken about you like a dog. But after seeing this...
Because now you see, it could have been worse.
It could have been worse. So thank you for even just not being worse.
Yeah.
And I know I'm laughing, but I am so honest with that.
For real.
I am so honest when it comes
bad,
to that.
But it could have been worse.
But part of that's grace for me,
absolutely.
Because I would have never deserved that.
Yeah.
And even me learning in the midst of that, what is abuse?
Yes.
What is narcissism? And who you're dealing with and how you deal with them. For me to be able to even understand a situation like this is
to come out, you're still okay.
And I'm able to know what a healthy relationship looks like with people. Not even just in an intimate relationship or a husband or a boyfriend, but just to know what a healthy relationship is genuinely with people. Because the thing about me is that I genuinely want to see everybody succeed. I want to see each and every one of you win.
Yep, absolutely.
And I know most people want to see you do well, but they never want to see you do better than them. But I don't mind people doing better than me because today might be your day, but my day is next. And when you truly understand that,
when you understand the universe is abundant, this is something for all of us out here. I don't have to take from you.
And the one thing about the universe and God, it loves a determined heart and a grateful heart. And as long as those two things you have, you will find very much abundance in life. And at one point when Miss Raina tried to say that I didn't give her grace, it did bother me a little bit because I am a person that very much gives chances, but I give chances only to people that I feel deserve the chance. And so for someone to gaslight you and say that you were not being graceful to that person kind of did bother me a little bit. But I am a very firm person. And the reason why I'm firm is because I understand people will take advantage of you in situations and try to tell you that you're the villain. And Gypsy is trying to villainize me right now, which is the irony of this all.
This is the constant smear campaign that you have to deal with. This is why.
And I'm not sure why this situation was so serious to me. Even people were saying she's the TMZ of Gypsy Rose. And it wasn't even that I really wanted to be. I just really was trying to gain understanding. And in the midst of the understanding, I found humor in the situation. But that's because I find humor in almost everything.
In our own situations.
In the middle of my divorce, I was finding humor in it. But that's part of trauma. Like it's a coping mechanism to trauma. Right? So you kind of like laugh things off because you just like, well, shit, it could have been worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, you like, I'm going to take what I got.
Yes. How many things have I sent you? I said, you can't make this stuff up.
So even the Chucky Rose entries have been humor only because that is who I am as a person. It's not to make a mockery of the situation, so to speak. It's just more of like every day is something new. So she needs to have a diary entry of her shenanigans. And if she ain't going to do it, I'm going to do it for her. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
But that's where we're at, and I feel like it was really important to bring this to you guys because I sat at the edge of my bed today and just shook my head.
Yeah, it was mind-blowing.
I really sat there and was like,
this is it. This is the connector.
This is what I was trying to understand, but the whole time I was overlooking this because I'm thinking fancy crazy.
Yeah. So
which is what you tried to do. Yes.
Gaslighting worked.
But I also know that with every crazy person, there's always truth. And Fancy, I'm not saying you for real crazy. What I'm saying is I know that these people have caused you to go over the edge. To make you appear crazy, which makes it scary for people that don't want to engage in extra drama. But I know that you have wanted the facts of this case to be proven. And now I understand why.
Well, that's an important lesson, knowing who you are and standing on it.
10 toes down. If this is how you feel, stand 10 toes down on it. So, Fancy, for anything I have said about you, my apologies. I could understand how this could have mentally thrown you in shambles. I truly could understand it. And, you know, I wish you nothing but the best. And I know that you fought to bring answers to this. And I think this was finally the answers. And I really appreciate you putting this out here along with Colleen, because Colleen is a nurse that has been working alongside of Fancy. And I feel like the reason why Colleen was really doing it was really because she knew that there was an injustice somewhere in here and she wanted to make sense out of it. So that, you know, Colleen, that shows like you as a good person. Really, honestly, it's just wanted to find the facts and get understanding.
Wow.
So we appreciate you guys watching. This was not a ha-ha laughing one.
No.
I wanted it to be, but y'all, I woke up and this one really, it blew my wig right off, and I don't even have a wig on right now. It blew it right off.
I was like, stop the car. Hold on.
No, literally. I called her this morning like, I need you to be free today.
Yes.
Because we need to make this video, and it is imperative to bring it. So she cleared her schedule for that. Y'all, it's been a long morning. But we're going to upload this and get this to you guys today. So you guys, by the time you see this will probably be this evening. We hope you guys have a great weekend because tomorrow is Friday. Thank you guys for subscribing and watching. I'm going to also tag Nicole's YouTube page down below. And her TikTok page as well. And her other social media handles in case you have any questions. Any podcasts that would love to get us on there, we would love to be on there to discuss this and shed light and awareness. And I have no malicious intent towards you, Gypsy. I just feel like it's important for the truth to be known. I've always been a truth seeker.
We've always spoke on the facts and the truth. That's it. Not making up anything.
And I think with her show coming out, this was something that very much needed to happen.
It's timely.
And I feel like, I'm like, God, what was I the one that you felt like needed to bring this message out? Because like I felt very heavy reading it.
Yeah. But you got the answer. It was something there, and you got the answer you were
Because
looking
I
for.
just couldn't shake this case, and I could not understand why. Most things I can move on from. Like, things don't really bother me.
Yeah.
You know, I just had to keep it moving,
Yeah.
you know? And I was like, why is this case, I'm so drawn to it?
Probably if she laid low and didn't say too much, you probably would have just grazed over it. But because she kept coming back.
Yeah, because initially, people have been trying to bring this chromosome disorder to my attention for weeks. I've been overlooking it, and I'm sorry to my followers for doing that.
Yeah.
I will look a little more thoroughly into things that you guys bring to my attention, because this was a huge learning lesson
But
for
you
me.
kept bringing up other stuff.
She was throwing things in a monkey bar in a way.
Yeah.
Even this morning, she had Bree do a video trying to throw another monkey bar, saying that she had personal information for me. I said, look, ain't no personal information that I haven't put on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay?
Open book.
I am a very transparent person, right?
Yeah.
Like, I will just say what it is, and is what it is.
We'll
Like, you
tell
don't
you the
have
whole
to just
story.
take it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
and I did also see a comment that someone sent me, and they said that they thought I was doing drugs. Child, I don't even smoke weed. I don't do anything affiliated with drugs. I do take ADHD medication, so that's prescribed.
The slandering continues.
Yeah, you know, they try to say, but I am someone that is educated. And you can take whatever you want from me, but you can't take my education from me and my intelligence.
Those are God's gifts that He keeps blessing.
And I don't know if you noticed, I have thousands of people behind me wanting justice like I do.
Yep, absolutely.
But y'all have a great, great, great weekend.
Yes.
Thank you guys for watching. If you've made it to this end, which I think a lot of you probably have, because there's been a lot of questions. But we will see you next week.
Yeah,
And bye-bye for now.
enjoy. Bye.
Okay.
Your testimony about Nick's autism. He has a low IQ. He suffers cognitive disabilities. And in the end, folks, you're going to understand the dynamics of this case, that Nick wasn't able to formulate the necessary mental state to commit murder in the first degree.
But right away, the jury saw the video of Godejohn being questioned by Detective Angela Mahoney and admitting to the murder of Deedee.